The first thing to wrap your head around is that people use the word politics for two different things. The first is generally used when talking about the game that people play to get elected, or when they poison their sibling to become king, and the general system of how things get done by government in society. When I say government, I mean the group of people that coordinates and controls society or the state. And by state, I mean the society living under one government. Politics has a lot of circular definitions. Moving on. The second use of politics is used interchangeably with political philosophy or political theory. Some people think that this is one of the main branches of philosophy, and some people think it's just an extra branch of ethics. But what really matters is that political philosophy is about how society should be structured, or ethics applied to groups of people. The pure philosophers among you may scorn politics as unphilosophical, but it's hard to talk ethics without referring to other people, and humanity is somewhat of a group-loving animal. Even if you're trying to encourage someone to live outside of society, it's hard to do so without mentioning the people of said society. Any reasons to move away from society are affected by the society, so you're already moved on from the realm of ethics to politics. Congratulations! To sum up, political philosophy is how groups of people should act. The government is then the group of people or entity that puts these ideas into practice for the state through its politics. Simple.
Hi there, good morning, wherever you're watching and listening to me. It's exactly the time for us to begin this program. Please do want to share and follow this page. Women Caucus for Stewardship is also NGO that is aiming and seeking to educate and empower women all over the world on educational, political, legal, and business aspects of life or field. You can reach me on womencaucus2020@gmail.com or +447585294910. I really appreciate your time you always have in watching my programs. I hope and I believe I'll get your support also. Today on the program is what is politics to the ordinary person. I hope you understand me on this topic because it seems even the politicians do not understand the concept of it. So therefore, it is duty for them to know what exactly is required of them. Thank you and stay tuned.
One nation, one people, one destiny. Patience, young pray.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chungu. Yeah, pardon me if I didn't pronounce. Good morning, Mr. Chungu. Yeah, I hope I pronounced your name well. Pardon me if I didn't.
Mr. Chombo. Good morning, Mr.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My regards to everybody in Zambia. I hope Zambia is on a good movement, although we are in pandemic crisis, but I hope everything is going on well. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to impact the world. You're into political field, you're a founder of NGO, and you're still struggling to get things unsaid. But mind you, you cannot change somebody's ideology if you don't know the exact belief or ideology that person holds, or if you personally you don't understand the concept of the field you are trying to pull that person in. So therefore, can we know what exactly politics is to the ordinary person, and who is that ordinary person we are referring to? Because it seems things are not going on, especially in the African continent. From ages now, we've been complaining. A lot of people are crying, people are murmuring on things, but still our so-called politicians are doing what they are doing at the moment. So the time is now. Do you think that these politicians actually don't understand the concept of politics they are playing or not? So thank you so much, and we hope to hear from you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the question is really important, which needs, to be taken so seriously when responding to such a question, because politics, I'll give the definition of politics to an ordinary person according to the experience that I've had in my country and what I'm seeing around here in my country. I come from a country that believes that politics is a boxing ring. It's a battlefield where you go and fight.
Are you serious?
Of course, because I'll say this because every time that I see people trying to engage each other in terms of politics, it's violence. That's what I see every time. Right now, my country is heading towards elections next year, 2021. And what we see is hate speech everywhere. And when they meet the opposition leader, youths and the ruling party members, when they meet, it's always violence when they meet. So that's the kind of belief that we are seeing, like, amongst our people in our country. And of course, I believe in some other African countries, that's what happens in some other countries. So I think politics, it should be something that people come together, because politicians are the people that are given a mandate to preside over nations, to rule people, to give the basic needs to their own people. So it's something that when they meet as maybe opposition and the ruling parties, it should be the moment that they sit together and begin to share ideas as how we can better the lives of their citizens. And the opposition as well, it should be their interest to give meaningful checks and balances to the ruling party. So politics should be something that countries like and parties that are mandated to be, leaders in a country, they come together and discuss and decide how best they will serve their citizens rather than engage in violence and sponsoring violent young people who need to be productive and who need to mean well for the betterment of their countries. So politics to an ordinary person, according to what I have observed in my lifetime, is that it is perceived to be a boxing ring and a battlefield where they have to fight for them to have the power that they need.
So, boss, what do you think is the reason behind this? Because in reality, that is not the definition, or that shouldn't be the role of politics. But why do you think that in your country is part of African continent? I'm from Ghana. I'm also from the African continent. It's a similar observation altogether. So, what do you think personally that it has been the natural or the idea behind the scene?
It's greediness. They believe that if you enter politics with the mindset that I want to be a leader, then I have access to wealth, I have access to, everything that the like natural resources, minerals, and other things in the country. It will mean that if you have that mindset that when I go there, I have access to everything and everything will be at disposal. That's what makes somebody not to really value and see the need to engage somebody and think of bettering the lives of other people, but rather they will enter into politics with that mind so that when they get power, they have access to the national cake and loot as much as they may want. So they'll fight and do what it takes to make sure that they enter power. They have that power and enrich themselves. So greediness and selfishness is what makes them to have that mindset and to act in that way.
So, I think before we can proceed on this concept of discussion, we have to know who the ordinary person is. So, according to you, who is the ordinary person? Should we refer to the person who is in the market, uneducated person, or the educated, illiterate person?
An ordinary person is somebody who is a citizen of a country, who lives in a country, who at times it could be that maybe this person is a marketeer in formal job employments, and anyone from child to the oldest person. And when we say an ordinary person, this should be somebody who looks up, because here we are trying to look at an ordinary person and politics. So the politicians themselves and the people that they rule, the people which they lead. So those are the ordinary people that we are trying to say to this ordinary person. And these are the people who are also at times try by all means to engage themselves in political issues, and maybe they find themselves in some wrong positions, or like be sponsored to engage themselves in some things which are not acceptable. So these are the ordinary people that we can say some who are being used by these politicians who are in positions.
All right. So, Honorable, can we refer these politicians as ordinary person in this context? Because ordinary person is somebody with empty head on the concept. And based on what you've just told us, it seems that most of our politicians do not know what they are doing. They do not understand the field they find themselves. So, can we definitely say that some of our politicians are also ordinary people in relation to politics?
They are also ordinary people, but these are the people that have a little bit of understanding of politics.
But they are
So
not doing what is expected of them. So
they are not doing it
do
because
we still have to call them politicians? Because this is a
they call
serious,
them.
yeah, this is a serious issue we are discussing today. You and I believe that we are in crisis at the moment, although we are in a modern world, but things are not going well in the African continent simply because our politicians are not doing the right thing. I'm not saying that these developed countries are perfect. No, they are not. Every country is struggling at the moment, but not to talk of African. And it is time we have to speak up, especially the young leaders. It's time we have to speak up. Even during our private communication, you always tell me, official, no, things are not going on in my country. So what should we do now? Should we still call these politicians, or should we regard them as ordinary people? Because there is no difference between them and the ordinary person we are referring to in the context now.
Yes, they must be called ordinary people, and they must be made to believe and to understand that what they are doing is not right. So when we say we have leaders, anyone can be a leader, but where is that person leading the people?
Yeah.
So we can call them the leaders because they are the ones who are in positions right now. They are the ones who preside over our banks, our natural resources, who programs, who makes programs for us, who makes budgets for our nations. So we can call them leaders right now, but are they doing the right thing? Are they leading us somewhere? So these are the questions that we have to ask.
Yeah.
Are they leading us somewhere? Where are they taking us? So if this, I don't know if I'm still like, if this person is not leading us anywhere, if this person is not leading us somewhere, then it means this person does not need our respect to respect him or her, that this one is our leader, and honor them in that way. So what we need right now is to identify us as people, as indigenous citizens of this continent. We need to ask ourselves, what do we need? If we want to elect somebody in position, we must ask ourselves, what do we need? And we must ask these serious questions to say, what are you going to do to protect our interests? Because what we see right now under the current leadership of other nations, including my nation, is that the interests of foreigners, those who just come to in the name of investment, to come and do whatever they want to do in our country, is more like is prioritized than the interests and of the citizens of a certain country. So, it's that time that we need to ask these who are begging us to put them in power, to ask them to say, what is it that you are going to do which is different from that which others did, which did not benefit us? So it's time that we need to begin to ask these questions to these who are aspiring or who want us to put them in position to lead us. Because these are the people that we are going to put to preside or to be, the custodians of all our wealth. So are we going to trust these people to say they will not do what others did? Those who acted like sellouts, who were greed and acted in a way that they wanted to only to enrich themselves and to benefit their families and loot the country. So if we ask these questions and we don't get concrete answers and convincing responses from them, then we don't need to put them in positions, because they will make us worse than they found us. So this is the time that we need to rise up and begin to speak and begin to critically look at things in a way that, we also look at the next generation. What legacy are we going to leave for our next generation? What type of a country, what type of a continent are we going to leave to our next generation to inherit? Will our next generation be proud of our works today? Because if we act so carelessly today, it will really be, cost. It will really cost the next generation. So it's time that we need to be careful and critically look at these issues and address them in the proper way which we need to address these issues.
All right. Honorable, can we know your definition of politics and the differences between that one and the reality on ground? What is politics to you? And do you think the people, the public, also understand the concept of politics?
Politics and politicians. There's politics, politicians, and are the people that are given a mandate to govern a nation, to govern a people, and so the way they govern the people, the way they lead people is what is called is the rule. Like the government, how can I put it? Okay, it's the way they govern the people, the way they lead people. It doesn't matter whether it's in a bad way or a right way, but it still remains politics. But we can also distinguish as bad politics and good politics. So it's the way people are being governed.
Mm. So it's the way people are being governed.
And
how?
we really need, and what we really need to look at right now as Africans is to really make sure that let everyone understands the concept, or let everyone understand what it takes to be a leader, what it takes to be a politician. Because you must go in there with the, you must not go in there with the mindset that when you go there, you only need to have access to everything and to have power. But when you have power, how are you going to use that power? When you're ushered into office, are you ready to handle that power? I think it's the time that everyone has to know. I have to begin to learn now to say, how was I governed? And where did they go wrong? These leaders who governed us. And if I'm given a mandate, if I'm given chance to lead as well, if I'm given this power, how am I going to handle it? How am I going to lead my nation? To make sure that the bad part that I saw from other leaders, it should not repeat itself to the next generation or to the people that I'm going to lead. So it's the time that we need to begin to educate every young person like me, like everyone out there, to begin to think and really look at it that if our leaders messed up in some other ways, so we make sure that we don't really do exactly what they did. We don't feel that when we are elected into power, we are given a mandate to lead. It will mean that maybe the people we lead, they owe us something. So it should be a servanthood thing. We are going to serve people than to be bosses and be, people who intimidate and abuse our abuse power. So this is what we need to work on. We need to educate every young person right now to be a good leader when that time comes to lead and to be given a chance to lead a nation.
This is a very good suggestion you've brought up. But my question to this is that, don't you think that we have the educated people, right? But they are not making any input. What is that? The reason behind this also? Because we've got people with doctorate course, degree, masters, all kinds of qualifications, but there is no transformation in our countries. What is the exact reason behind our problem in African countries?
If we were to change the mindset, that we have, that whoever speaks the loudest when it comes to the campaigns and the campaigns during the elections, whoever speaks the loudest, then we consider those people to be the wisest people. I think if we work on changing that, is what will really see us transforming this, our whole continent and the way we conduct ourselves. Because you find that if me, somebody who just speaks so, who is too talkative, so to say, and I always maybe go out there in the media, speaking, even when I'm speaking something that does not make sense, as long as I'm maybe in support with a certain party. So I'll be given, when that party gets into power, then I'll be given a position maybe of a minister. But they are very qualified people who are too silent, but can deliver the best out of them to the nation. So just because that one used to be a talkative person, used to sing songs well during their campaigns, is given a position as a reward. So we need to be very much careful in choosing the people who lead us. And this is where we need to begin to critically look at this issue, because if we are given to choose a leader, then we choose somebody who just speaks anyhow and does not deliver the best to the nation, then it will mean that this person who have literally no understanding of what it takes to govern will lead the intellectuals, those who have something to give out of them to the continent or to a certain country. So will be led under such a person, and that person have completely no idea of what it takes to govern, and will be using the power to intimidate and oppress those intellectuals who try to bring even brilliant ideas that can develop a nation. So we need to be really careful in the way we select our leaders. It's time that we even begin to reject those people that are put in positions who we see that this person does not mean well for this country, does not mean well for this continent. It's time that we begin to look at our intellectuals. But I also see a problem in our intellectuals, the people that knows better, because these are the people who are very educated and they have the best out of them that they can give to a nation, that they can give to the continent. But they are quiet. They're in their offices. They're in their offices. They can't come out and speak out. They cannot deliver the best out of them to put it at disposal so that people begin to learn and begin to see, to say these are the people that means well for the country. But they are hidden maybe in their own, in their own well-conditioned offices. They can't come out to speak. They can't come out to demonstrate to us, to show us. At the end of the day, we find these, people who do not mean well jump up and down and become so popular and celebrities. Then we usher them into office, because those are the people that we hear from. Those are the people that we see to say these are the people who we think that they can serve us better. So when you go and acquire education wherever you are, you should acquire that education so that you come back to your country and give the best out of you and liberate the continent, liberate the country, and make it the best country that you have never had before. So every intellectual out there, everyone who is pursuing anything, let it be in the interest of you changing the narrative of Africa, the narrative of African politics.
Honorable, don't you think that the main problem of our issue is poverty? Because we don't have a lot of resources at the moment. Don't you think that that is the medium of which these politicians, the rich ones, are dependent on deceiving our countries? Don't you think that?
What type of resources do we need? Because everything is from Africa. talk of everything that you may talk of in terms of minerals, vegetation, wildlife, everything. Water is abundant in Africa. Everything is in Africa. But what is it that we need as Africans? It is time that we need to begin to check on the type of leadership that we usher to lead us. This is the most important thing which we miss. These countries that we call developed countries, they were once poor, but it took some leaders who worked so hard to transform their countries.
Yeah.
Today we rush to our foreign countries, to the foreign countries, for greener pasture. But that same country, somebody worked it to be the way it is. Our presidents right now, any African president who falls sick or who gets infected with maybe this same coronavirus, who decide or who choose to fly to other countries, to other good medical facilities. But those medical facilities, somebody worked hard to make it the way it is. Why can't you work hard to make it the best in your own country? So this is the problem that we have. It's not about poverty. It is not about poverty. It is the type of leadership and the systems that we have in place that do not benefit us. So once I told you in our private conversation that we have good leaders, but sitting in bad systems. So this is what I meant. They are very good leaders, but they sit under very difficult conditions for them to work so effective to develop their own countries. So this is what we need to change. It's not about poverty. We can work. If Chinese 50 years down the line have worked to be the way they are now, where they are right now, it's because they worked so hard and they set their goals so strategically that by this, they projected to say by this time, on that such a time, will be the leading economy in the world. And they worked towards those goals. It's a time that we need to set all those goals and put them in place and begin to work in that direction. So this is what we need as a continent. It's not about poverty. We have everything in our continent. It's time that we need to work and wake up, change systems which are designed to benefit the indigenous Africans, and we work with the indigenous mindset. That's what we need right now. It's total transformation.
Well, Honorable, the reason why I'm relating the cause to poverty is that, there is high level of poverty in our country, frankly speaking. And naturally, psychologically, you can deceive somebody by buying that person through the needs of the person. For instance, as we are communicating, if somebody sees that, official Benin needs earrings or a dress to make her attractive to the public, and he or she bases on that aspect and tell me that, official Benin, if you follow me, I'll make this provision. Definitely, in reality, I'll definitely follow that person. So don't you think that poverty is the major cause of it? Because we've got educated people in our countries, but yet still, they are still following these rich so-called politicians in deceiving the public. So don't you think that that is the main reason of our countries at the moment? Because if we are able to declare, or if we are able to eradicate this poverty from our countries, I think we'll get a better solution at the moment. Because people are crying, people are dying of hunger, people are dying of food, shelter, my dear. If you are not able to get money to feed yourself, you wouldn't even accept my invitation and come on board to impact the world. Frankly speaking, if you're hungry, will you come on social media and tell the world that, I am this, do that? No, because the body needs food. So we have to also pardon our people on that aspect. So poverty comes in a different means.
Yeah, it does. It comes in different means, but you know what? It's how it's managed. Because when we look at um, what we have in our continent, if we have if we have if we have water, if we have good weather patterns, if we have vegetation, if we have wildlife, we have everything. But how do we manage those things so that we make sure that we begin to produce what something that is being produced in Africa and consumed by Africans? We can't have a situation whereby we are Africans, but what we consume is out of Africa. What we wear is out of Africa. What we use is out of Africa. Don't we have inventors in Africa? Don't we have farmers in Africa? Don't we have engineers in Africa? Don't we have, manufacturing companies in Africa? But you know what? You find a situation whereby uh, here are the manufacturing companies in Africa, but Africans themselves, they won't join hands together to support that manufacturing company to manufacture abundant things for Africans, the cheap and affordable things for Africans. Talk of the seeds that we plant, everything, fruits, even fruits themselves that we can plant in our own country and grow for ourselves. We import from foreigners. So this, you cannot wonder when you see that poverty levels are increasing, because we always rely on these imported goods and everything being made for ourselves. And when we rely on them, when they want to fix us, they can fix us so easily. They will just stop, because we don't have an idea of how we can grow our own fruits, how we can grow our own food, how we can manufacture our own things to use. So this is what we need to look at. So poverty is there. That's the fact. There is poverty in Africa, but it's because we have not we don't have good leadership in place that prioritize the interests and the need for the Africans. And this is what we need to begin to change. I emphasize again, we need to change this. Let us work on, making sure that let engineers do their part. When somebody go out and acquire the education, let him come and be an engineer who manufactures things that will benefit Africans. If you know how to manufacture anything, or in terms of clothes, of any such anything that you can manufacture, come back home and manufacture it for the country, manufacture it for the continent. So if we do it in that way, it will mean that every Black person will be productive and will be manufacturing and making things for Africans, not to be approved by any foreign country, but let it be for Africans. So this is what we need. Poverty is there, but this poverty have to be dealt with by ourselves, by putting in place policies and be dedicated and change the mindset, the way we perceive, the way we look at work, because work is something that really needs to, I think work is something that really need to be redefined in Africa. Work is not about slavery or anything, but it's something that you need to dedicate yourself and work towards achieving all the goals that you want to better your lives as a continent, as a country. So that's what we really need to work on. Let every African have a mindset that, whatever I do, let me do it for my continent. Let me do it for my country. Therefore, when you become when you come up with a manufacturing company, let it manufacture things for Africans. Let us grow food for Africans. Let us grow anything that we can build for Africans. And in that way is the best way that we are going to solve African problems and reduce African poverty levels.
All right, Honorable. I'm reading a comment at the moment. Somebody just sent it to me through WhatsApp. It says he thinks our social institutions and cultural practices is our problem, the cause of our problem. What is your opinion on that?
Can you repeat the question again?
All right, he is emphasizing that he thinks the cause of our problem is also on our cultural practices and our social institutions.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that because when you look at the institutions that we have in Africa, they are not institutions. I'll give an example like school systems. They are not systems which were designed to make Africans be inventors, to make Africans, manufacture, to make Africans be productive, but to make Africans be civilized slaves. You know, they teach Africans how to speak good English, how to memorize things, but not to really critically and think of how to solve African problems. So the systems are also a major problem that we have in Africa, and when we have an executive that do not really look at how best they can reform and design systems in the country is what can really cost that country, because that type of leadership will make sure that it uses the system the way they are, and in some ways use it to oppress people. So systems, I agree with that, are the major things, the things that have made Africa be the way we are now. We were miseducated, the institutions were used to make sure that an Africa remains at that average level and do not go beyond what they were designed to be at that level. So it's what really has costed us. So I totally agree with that point, and I think if such things have to be addressed in that way, I think it will help us, redesign Africa and reprogram Africa. So I agree. I totally agree with that point.
All right, Honorable. Now we've realized our problems. Let's channel our conversation to how we can solve it, because we need change now, and we are the agent of positive change. Because if we fail our countries now, it is a must. There is no medium for our country to develop. So, do you think our educational system needs changing? Because basically, I'm from Ghana and I'm in the UK now, so I've noticed some differences in our educational system. Do you think we have to change some systems in our education? Because mostly our education system is about brain drain, like 1 + 1 2, 2 + 2 3. But this is a scenario, but we don't teach our children, our leaders, how to think the reason or how to divide by 1 + 1 = 2. Do you think we have to change our educational system? Because education is transforming knowledge onto the next person. So if we don't get the right transformation, that can also impact negative in our future. Do you think we have to focus on our education system?
Specialization is something that we need to really look at, because we need to begin to identify talents, what you are able to do at your young age. So you can't have somebody who is very bad in sciences and keep learning sciences from the first grade to the last grade. And this person is good at art, maybe making in woodwork. So you can't have somebody learning that from the first grade to the last grade and have been poorly, performing badly in school and on sciences, but is very good at art and woodwork. So if we begin to identify maybe talents or what somebody is able to do at a young age, is what will really change our education system, and will begin to make people to create young people who are going to be problem solvers even at a very young age, because this person will be specialized in something that will be learned, which he or she will be learning from the young age, and at maybe in his or her 7th grade will be able to create something which the world, the country, the continent can point at to say, here is something that has been made by this young man. So specialization and using skills which Africans has is what will really change our education system. So basically, that's what we need to look at. We don't have to be just because it was just designed like this, so we should go the way it was introduced to us. But we need problem solvers. You can't have me. I've worked, maybe I've done well in sciences, then I failed in English, then I'm not employed anywhere because I can't speak English, but I'm able to do things. So this is what has really made us the poorest continent. So if we change that, I'm talking about education system. So if we change that, is what will make us realize the potential that we have, which has been trapped under this bad education system that we have in Africa. So we really need to change that.
All right. Honorable, don't you also think that the youth of today are not willing to help the country?
They are not willing. Some are willing, like me and you. We are very much willing to transform. So,
yeah, but no, I'm talking in aspect of the majority, not the fewer people. The majority of the youth are not willing to help the country. They are just relying on these politicians. And anytime you complain, they tell you that, my dear, time to feed for yourself, not for the world. Do you think that another problem of our issue at the moment is about the youth inability to struggle for the best?
They are not willing. It also goes back to the point that I raised to say, I think also awareness, like, these youths have to be taught to say there's a good life that you can live when you invest in yourself. There's a good life that you can live when you embrace what you have, the best thing that you have to give to the world. When you embrace it and work on developing that, it can really, give you that commercial value which the world may need. So there's something in every young person, but they don't realize that they have something that they can give. So if we begin to also transform, to speak to them in this way, telling them that they are capable of doing something and transform and make the world the way they want it to be. So youths may seem not to be willing to help the building the nation, but it's because some, they don't know what really is needed for them to do. So it's time that us who have realized that there's a need to transform something, there's need to do something somewhere, it's need that we go on an anthill and speak the loudest and tell them to say, come here, there's the best land that we can live in, there's the best of us that we can do to develop our continent, to develop our country. So it's our duty, actually. Yes, it's you only know that you were sleeping when you wake up. So some, they are sleeping, they don't know that there's something that they can do to better the continent, to better their country. So it's time that we begin to wake them up, let them realize that there's the best out of them that they can give to the world, that they can give to develop this continent. So we need to work. We have a lot of work to do, actually, as the people who have realized to say we need to transform this continent and make it a better continent for us.
Honorable, just a few questions there. We run up this discussion. We are really appreciative of your time. Honorable, don't you think that our agents of government, example, the media, is another cause of our problem? Because we know that the media is the intermediary between the people and the government, and they have to be strong and independent on what they are doing. But now, what we are observing and seeing now is that these agents of government are under the influence of these politicians. Don't you think that another problem of our issue is from the media house?
I, before this interview, I just received a picture from a very good friend of mine who is a comedian, who designed, had to put the pictures of those people who are in the streets, who are homeless. And what he wrote was, these people were saying, they were asked to say, why is Corona not affecting you? Then they said, we don't have television. It's because they don't watch it. So they are not affected with Corona. So the media is something that shapes which was designed to be after your soul, to be after your conscience, to be after your mindset. So what is put on the media, you can get your remote set and look at it. Every button that you can press on there is targeting your soul, is targeting your mindset. So what is being portrayed there, what is being put there is what, and you keep on watching and seeing it, is what to transform you to be the way you become. So the media is the most dangerous thing, and is the most good thing that we were given. We are using media right now to communicate. You are in UK, I'm in Zambia. We are communicating something very, very good, and it's working in a positive way. Again, it can be something that can mislead us and make us the people that are not productive, the people that are not innovators, the people that are just there to just watch at things happening and be maybe celebrities, useless celebrities. So the media is something that should be also reformed in Africa. The information that is given to our people will define or will determine how the people will be, how people will be responding to nature. We have been separated, completely separated from nature. We cannot go back to relate with nature again. We cannot go back to work the land. We cannot go back to be connected to the soil. So the media has made us to think that to change the reality and make it the way it is really, the way it doesn't exist on this planet. So the media should be something that is going to educate people to be, if at all we say we want our own media, which will be controlled by ourselves, it will mean that we must design that media to be a media that will send the information and good information to our people. In it, there will be culture, there will be, educational programs that will make us realize the true identity of ourselves, who we are, how we can relate with our nature, how we can go back to the way we used to live and be the people that will work the land and work the land which will benefit us as Africans. So the media is something that has really changed the world and something that has really destroyed some communities and some civilizations and have brought the other civilization to look like is the superior, is something that is superior than our civilization. So we need to look so critically and try to make the media that is controlled by us as Africans and see what we need to see as Africans on the media.
All right, Honorable, thank you so much for your time, your advice, and suggestion at the time. What is the summary of what you have for us? Or what is your advice on this topic for the world? Because everything is in danger now. So, what do you think we have to do to get on with our national development? Because our time is almost up. So, can we run up?
When you are a leader, when you are a leader, you must be a servant, not a boss to dictate, but you must be a servant. You must realize that when you are given a mandate to lead a nation, those people have entrusted you that you serve them according to their interest. So when you are a leader, when you are a politician, when you are anybody who is aspiring to be a leader, you must bear in mind that when you get that power which you want, you must realize that you are a servant who is going to serve people according to their interests. And let us not lose the African consciousness, because the time that we lose the African consciousness is the time that will be a messed up race, a messed up continent. Because every civilization will just come and do whatever they want and do anything that they want in our continent, and we'll have no say because we have lost our African consciousness. So we need to look at that so critically, and we need to look at that in its seriousness. As a leader in Africa, you must realize that when you are given a mandate to preside over a nation, to lead a continent, you must not lose your African consciousness, and you must lead according to the interests of Africans, not the interests of foreigners who come to loot and destroy this continent. Because when you allow foreigners to come and control you in your own land, it will mean that the next generation will have nowhere to live. I don't know if they will live in the air, but what we know is that they need to live in this continent, and this continent must be well designed by us, and we are the agents of change who can change and make it a better continent for our future generation.
Yeah, definitely. We are the agent of change for our countries. Thank you so much, Honorable. We are very happy having you at this time. We will get back to you on different agenda also. Take care, and regards to our people in Zambia. Bye.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right,
good to be here. Happy. Sure. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you so much. All right, bye. Hi, dear one. I hope you've really learned a lot, especially those in the African continent. We are the agent of positive change. Let's rise up, especially the youth of today. No matter how poor you are, we need the knowledge. We need to fight for our future, because we are the phase of development for our countries. And if we fail our countries now, my dear, it's not I'm cursing, that it is a must. There is no chance for our countries to develop again. So you can link me with womancaucus2020@gmail.com or +447 585 294910. I repeat, because I need support now. We need to rise up. We need to develop our countries now. +447 585 294910. +447 585 294910. Or you can reach me on my personal Facebook account, Benedicta Brefo. Please do want to share this video, because we need positive change now. I love you so much, and join us every Tuesday at this time. Take care, and let's rise up. Bye.